Hey, welcome to episode 9 of Cryptenomics. My name is Mike. This is Aaron. And if you're new to this channel, this is where we sort of just hang out, have a beer. Normally, I have a beer too. I'm just feeling extra tired today. And
Can't
we
hang.
Just, yeah,
Can't
we just
hang.
chat about crypto, news, what's happening, different projects. And yeah, we have an exciting episode today. A bunch of cool stuff to talk about. A lot of funny things in the news.
There's a lot in the news this last week.
Yeah. And it's been interesting to watch the Nasdaq news, Bacon coin type news, the Venezuela Petro. So yeah, it's been fun. How's your week been?
It's been good, crazy busy. Crazy busy. I haven't had a week like this in a while.
It's been green though.
It's been green, yeah. Crypto's having a good week for sure.
Yeah.
I'd say a better week than I'm having.
Yeah. Cool. Yeah. So a lot of people have been asking us who we follow on Twitter, Facebook, etc. People that we like to find even our news sources from, and information, and people who maybe make good trading calls.
And also,
And
we're also going to cover some people not to follow, not to listen to.
Yeah, there's a lot of troll shit posters out there.
Yeah.
But overall, I think it's very important to know who and who not to follow, especially when you're getting into a new niche like crypto and you're not as familiar and you want to find the proper resources.
Yeah, definitely.
Because there's a lot of crap out there and a lot of people trying to swindle.
There's an overwhelming amount of crap out there.
Yeah. I like to follow guys who have a comedic, kind of a good sense of humor about things.
Yeah.
One guy, Ant, I know that we both like. He's been around for a while. I've direct messaged with him before. I know that he's been in the game at least as long as I have, since 2014, and he's grown quite the following.
Quite the following.
Yeah.
And what's that? The tweet, the Theo Bit tweet that we love.
So Theo Bit, look, I'm not here to trash Theo Bit. I think Theo Bit's a great exchange. I know that the CEO is very dedicated, but they have a reputation of not being the prettiest exchange, ugly UI, which makes new users not have trust in it until they use it for a while.
And has a good sense of humor.
So Ant was on I guess he was on a subway or a bus, and he tweeted, like, man, this bus smells like Theo Bit. And I thought, I don't know, it cracked me up. Ant is a technical trader, and a little bit of fundamentals, I would say, but he definitely trades primarily, he trades like a robot. It's very clear the way he tweets. He says, this coin has this resistance. I'm not going to sell to this price. I'm not going to buy until this price. And he often tweets a lot of good lessons and from his personal experience and wisdom about risk and really managing your risk in trading and knowing when to take a loss and knowing when to take your gains. So yeah, I'd recommend following Ant. He's at This Is Noose. I'll link him. I'll link all these Twitter guys in the description.
Yeah, I would say that he is a good example of a true trader. What you want to be as a trader. He's not emotional about it. He sticks to his plan. He has a system, and I think that's like the biggest hurdle that most people have to overcome. Kind of getting into trading, whether it's crypto or otherwise. Being emotional get you like in hot water every time.
Yeah, and above all else, he doesn't post anything that's too hypey. He doesn't say, buy this coin now. He doesn't say, this testnet is launching, like, big news coming. He doesn't tweet that. He just says, this is what I'm doing. This is why I'm doing it.
Yep.
I'll let you know the results. Take it or leave it. So he's good. Then obviously there's, like, big names, though, in the industry, right? So this is a big Twitter guy we're talking about, but there are even larger names outside of Twitter, outside of social media.
Oh, yeah.
The number one person I recommend everyone watch, maybe buy his books, is Andreas Antonopoulos.
I think you did a good job with that one.
Yeah, Antonopoulos. And he is an older guy. I would say he's in his mid-40s if I was to guess. And he's definitely a cypherpunk, and he has been involved with IT security and encryption very early on, since the late 80s. He was involved, I know, like with experimenting with emails even, when it wasn't easy to send an email at one time. And he has been just the face of crypto, in my opinion, and the most trusted advocate of everything. You could see him on Joe Rogan's podcast. You could see him on the news. He made a book with, not a dummies book. There's another one. I'm blanking out right now. It has like a purple pinkish cover to it.
Yeah, I was going to say that if you're not looking to, bite off an entire book, the Joe Rogan podcast that you mentioned, I thought is really good. And if someone isn't familiar with him, although I feel like most people in crypto are, that podcast is full of information. It's pretty good.
It's the O'Reilly series, Mastering Bitcoin.
Gotcha.
To get onto that series is pretty legitimate.
Yeah.
So kudos to him. And he tours around the world. And he doesn't make, he's not doing it for profits. It's very clear that there was a point actually where I think he got hacked or he lost his coin somehow. I don't think he lost them because he's a security guy, but he must have got hacked somehow. And the community really did donate to him to fund his, world public speaking tour that he's always on. And Andreas Antonopoulos is the guy to follow, the person to really look up to in the crypto world, in my opinion, who's really in it for the technology, in it for the political reasons, and not for just pure profit. Yeah. And, when he goes around to these tours, I know that he sends people that he meets $1 worth of Bitcoin. Like, he really just wants to get people into it. He gives out a lot.
Yeah.
So I would say that's good. So there's Ant, Andreas. Who do you like?
I'd say another, genuinely positive influence in crypto is Vitalik Buterin, the founder of Ethereum. And if you want to feel stupid, follow him on Twitter. He some of the things he tweets are just, ridiculous computational, challenges. Mm-hmm. And it is interesting to follow along. And even if you're not fully grasping what they're talking about.
And he's young, so it's good to watch him grow too. I think lately he's been becoming more socially open.
Yeah, I agree.
Confident with himself, especially as he called out Craig Wright.
Yeah.
So there was a conference a while ago where a lot of the top crypto figureheads came to this panel, basically. And one person there was Craig Wright. Craig Wright is a person who I don't recommend following. He's not very trustworthy, in my opinion. He's heavy behind Bitcoin Cash, but he also claimed to be Satoshi once. He went on the news claiming to be Satoshi. He was going to sign his wallet with his private key to move coins, and then he bitched out and was like, "Oh, I can't do it because it's too painful for me, or the scrutiny I would get, etc." And everyone's like, "You're full of shit." He apparently has 10 PhDs, and has some shady shit going on with the Australian government. He's Australian. So this imposter Craig Wright was at this conference, and he had some proposals, and Vitalik was there, and people who actually wrote the Lightning Network white paper for Bitcoin were there. So guys who really know their shit also. And Vitalik was the one to really start this little argument.
Yeah, he called him out.
Yeah, he called him out. He stood up. If I could find the video, I'll link it. But he stood up and he said, "Why is this fraud allowed to speak at this conference? He doesn't make any sense. He doesn't know what he's talking about, etc." So Vitalik is someone to follow, I agree. His adversary and all of our adversary, perhaps, is Craig Wright. I would not recommend following him. Perhaps follow him on Twitter to know not to follow him, because you never know if he'll get retweeted or something. Yeah. Let's see. Other people. I like... So I don't know how to feel about him, because he might be not... He's not that trustworthy. But I have learned things from Richard Hart. I hate to admit it. Richard Hart is a guy who came into the scene out of nowhere quickly. I mean, he got boom, 20,000 Twitter subscribers, and he got a YouTube following because he did an initial video with Roger Ver that really blew up. Now, his history is questionable. People have looked into if he's an email spammer, scammer, blah, blah, blah. Despite all of that, I have watched his videos, and I've actually learned a thing or two. And he definitely knows what he's talking about.
He's definitely a smart
despite
guy.
His intentions. Yeah.
He's a weird dude. He's a weird dude. But definitely there's some value there. I am always a little bit skeptical whenever I hear him say anything. But he's definitely a smart guy, and we've definitely heard him say, true intelligent things.
Yeah, exactly. No, he definitely understands how these networks work, and he can have a debate with the top guys in the industry about it. So there's some sort of merit there. I wouldn't dig too deep into his intentions. I wouldn't necessarily follow his trading calls or any coins that he promotes, although he is a Bitcoin maximalist. I would more watch him just for the technical answers that he gives, because they actually are accurate. That's all. Another guy I like that I recommend is Charlie Shrem. He's been around for a while. He's the founder of BitInstant. He went to jail for a year, unfortunately. But
Yeah,
yeah,
BitInstant is a cool story.
yeah.
So for people who don't know what that is, in his college dorm room, he was facilitating, crazy payments in Bitcoin via credit card networks, right?
Yeah.
And what did they actually get him for?
For not being a registered money service business and like potential laundering, even though he didn't do it. He didn't launder.
So he was super early. Probably made a nice pile doing that. Unfortunately, they made an example out of him. But he's out now, and he's definitely a positive influence for the crypto community, and he's pretty outspoken.
No, he definitely is. He's located. I think he goes between New York and Florida a lot. He's part of a lot of different Bitcoin and crypto foundations, and someone to follow. Younger guy. I think he's like 28, 29 perhaps, and knows his shit. But yeah, BitInstant was a cool story. I think they were accounting for like probably 3/4 of all Bitcoin transactions at one time, going through them.
That's wild.
So they were doing very well.
And to do that out of your like college dorm room.
Yeah, the Winklevoss boys invested 1.5 million in them to get started, really too. So that definitely helps. Charlie Shrem, another one in the books. Those are the big ones. I'd say those are good to start with. And then if you want to go deeper into Twitter of guys who aren't as big as the names we just mentioned, like Andreas, but if you want to go more like ant level, like we first said, I'd recommend also looking at DJ Thistle. I've also DM'd with him, Skyped with him a couple times. He's been around since late 2013-ish, I'd say. And also, great technical trader and fundamental trader. He doesn't pump coins. He says it like it is, and he has a great reputation. I highly recommend following him. Cool guy.
So we want to talk about some people maybe steer clear of?
Steer clear of. Honestly, Jihan Yu, dude. I hate to say it. There was a time where I thought he was he meant well, but he really, ever since him and Roger Ver teamed up and like Jihan Yu basically held Bitcoin hostage by only accepting Bitcoin Cash for his mining rigs, lost a lot of respect. I would take what they say at this point with a grain of salt.
I agree.
Not because they don't know what they're talking about, but because their intentions now are so one-sided towards Bitcoin Cash that it's kind of weird. It's kind of weird.
It is a real issue, though. Bitmain is a force.
Bitmain is a force. Yeah, so Jihan Yu is the CEO of Bitmain, I believe.
Yeah. So for those who don't know, they run a massive mining farm in China, and they account for the vast majority of the hashing power on the Bitcoin network, right?
Yeah.
So they almost alone hold a lot of power on the network. So, and then he's at the head of that. So his decisions, what he does, definitely has a widespread impact on crypto.
Yeah. And then there is Roger Ver, right? So Roger Ver is the force behind Bitcoin Cash and also was a force behind Bitcoin itself.
Yeah. So, I mean, I think
I don't dislike Roger. I think that he's extremely smart, extremely driven, and he genuinely believes in crypto and Bitcoin because he was involved with it when it was before it was anything.
No question, he believes in crypto and he wants crypto to succeed. But I think that somewhere along the line, I don't know if it's greed or what, but his overall
he got corrupt. It looks like
yeah. His overall view and ideology is now misaligned with like the true ideology of crypto. Bitcoin Cash is...
Yeah, he's not promoting freedom of thought or decision. He's
right.
just saying Bitcoin Cash is objectively better, is almost the way he words things.
Right.
And
then, to launch this war where, he owns Bitcoin.com and he has the @Bitcoin Twitter handle. And he is spreading misinformation, claiming that Bitcoin Cash is the real Bitcoin. And it's not.
Yeah.
Definitely not.
Yeah. No, it's pretty absurd.
But yeah, I think that I agree. He definitely started with good intentions, still, seems to want crypto as a whole to succeed, but he's definitely creating a rift that's not overall a net positive.
Yeah, so Roger, Jihan, and
McAfee.
And McAfee's another one we can talk about, but the third guy they shouldn't follow. Roger, Jihan, and we said the first guy. No. Yeah,
You've been having too much of my beer.
No.
Yeah, McAfee, I think, is the third really, not necessarily don't follow these guys.
Honestly, McAfee, don't follow. You're not going to learn anything from
You're definitely not going to learn anything, but I would say that there is...
Sorry, Craig Wright was the third person.
Craig Wright. Oh, you're right. My bad. Yeah. But with all of these guys, it's probably good to know what the bullshit being spread around is. McAfee, if you're fast enough and, you're on it, ride one of his like shitcoin pumps. I mean, but understand that it's a shitcoin pump. It's not like
he's getting paid to show he's openly promoting coins.
So if he tweets out, coin X is great and it's my pick for the future, it always pumps.
It's because he got paid $100,000 for one crypto tweet, which is literally. I'm not
If you can profit off of that, by all means, but don't get hung up in like, oh, this is actually something to hold. His opinions are entirely bought and paid for. But there's definitely money to be made following some of these guys if you are smart and fast. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I think McAfee as a whole, we discussed this, is a net negative in crypto. I don't think that he's adding any value to the community or pushing, adoption forward in any way. We were talking about like, does anyone think that McAfee has brought new people, new money into crypto? I don't think so at all. I think that you and I have individually done more for bringing new money and new people into crypto than McAfee has. He's just spreading a lot of shit.
Yeah, I agree.
I think that that sums up like a lot of the influencers and big names and people to watch, avoid, keep an eye out, etc.
Yeah, that's mostly for the newer guys. Anyone who's been involved, we all know who these people are. Nothing you haven't heard before. But for anyone who is new, there's some good news going on in general.
Yeah, the last week has been good for crypto.
Well, the first thing is Nasdaq.
Yeah.
So Nasdaq is interested in crypto. They said that they're open to being a crypto exchange. Additionally, there's one firm I've spoken with. I can't say their name, but I know for a fact they told me that Nasdaq is licensing out their trading engine for them to use, and this is a crypto company. I also know that the Winklevoss twins at Gemini also are licensing out Nasdaq's trading technology, primarily around surveillance, I believe, that section of their technology. So it's nice that Nasdaq is helping, even though they haven't dove into the crypto world right now in terms of their exchange offering crypto. It's nice to see that they're offering to license out their technology to crypto companies to help make more sophisticated trading engines, which is desperately needed.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that statement was, caveated a bit with like when regulations are, squared away. So this is still a ways out and it may never pan out, but it's certainly exciting to hear that, Nasdaq is interested, it's on their radar and something that they're thinking about.
And if I was to guess, I would say that they are clearly invested. They're helping these crypto companies firsthand.
Yeah.
So it's interesting. I think it's a good thing to speculate that they probably are invested, which is good for their intentions.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know that specifically the fact that they're licensing some of their software to these crypto services is an indication of that, but it's certainly an indication.
Well, the reason I think it is because they're helping crypto companies.
Yeah, they are, but you could also look at it as just like good business.
Right. But if they didn't like crypto, they wouldn't help it.
I know. I agree with that. I think it's definitely an indication that they're generally not against it, which we've seen from banks, and we've definitely seen anti-crypto behavior. So that's definitely a positive. But I still think that you could just say, well, why wouldn't they license it to them? It's good business.
I guess. I think
unless they had, like you said, like a real agenda against it.
Yeah, exactly.
So it definitely does. I think it rules out them having any malicious intent against crypto or any distaste for it. I just don't know that it clearly indicates that they're invested more than...
Well, it's just from their history, I think they're beyond neutral. That's all.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I agree with that. I definitely agree with that.
Yeah. So yeah, I think that's, keep an eye on NASDAQ. That's good stuff. What else is there? Binance having a more profitable Q1 than Deutsche Bank, which is impressive. Deutsche Bank's been around for probably like 150 years. Binance has been around for probably 10 months. Deutsche Bank has, I think, like well over 50,000 employees, maybe 100,000 employees. Binance has around 200 employees. And that's damn impressive. Let me bring up the actual metrics.
That's damn impressive. The how long they've been around comparison really puts that in perspective. Binance is an infant.
140. I was pretty close. Deutsche Bank's been around for 148 years. One of Europe's biggest banks. Deutsche Bank recorded a profit of $146 million Q1. But then Binance is saying only 146 million. We brought in 200 million in profit Q1 with only 200 employees versus their 100,000 employees.
It's insane. So, I mean, think about the relative costs in operating. Like, damn.
And they're just in the exchange business. Deutsche Bank.
What's the Binance CEO's name? What's blanking on his name?
Changpeng Zhao.
He had a good quarter. Personally, I would think that he cleared a lot.
He did well. Yes, I think he did well.
Jeez.
So yeah, that's pretty neat. Binance, yeah.
I mean, their operating costs have got to be like a percentage of that of Deutsche Bank.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah. There's been some predictions going around that, crypto's market cap will hit 40 trillion in the next couple years. That'd be pretty crazy considering we're not even at 1 trillion yet. But 40 trillion is possible if you understand, global economics. That's a possible market cap to hit. And that's probably almost 100x where we are now. So that's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, we could casually 100x on our current positions, so it's not bad.
Yeah, I'm down. Funny news is Heinz Bacon Company making Bakecoin coins.
Yep.
Basically redeemable for bacon from them. Or Oscar Mayer Heinz, what am I talking about? Let me look this up real quick. Yeah, Oscar Mayer Bakecoin coins. As of Tuesday, one Bakecoin was worth 11 strips of bacon. In case anyone is curious, that's what it's probably redeemable for right now. It's probably trading for about 11 strips, 12 strips.
How do you redeem your Bakecoin for...
I think they have on their website, they must have a section where you can send them Bakecoins somehow.
That's hilarious.
Because first you have to get the Bakecoins. But yeah, I don't know. So, bacon. Speaking of redeemable currencies, there also is other news. Venezuela, that's actually pretty big news. It's been around for a while. It's not new to this past week, but Venezuela has been offering other countries a 30% discount if they pay them in crypto for their Petro cryptocurrency. Completely controlled and owned by the Venezuelan government. So, yeah, a lot of people are saying, oh, just another government shitcoin, or it's a government shitcoin, don't do it, blah, blah, blah. I am inclined to agree, but I also am inclined to disagree. I think that it's actually a great thing. I mean, think about just the infrastructure. Forget the fact of is this a trustworthy coin? Is Venezuela having good intentions? Forget that. The point is, though, is that there will probably be other countries, buying this asset that's not on the SWIFT network, that's not part of the existing banking system, and actually off the grid paying Venezuela for these Petro coins. The Petro coins are redeemable for barrels of oil. That's how that works. So, I think they're pegging it where 1 Petro equals 1 barrel of oil. Now, the fact that if the Venezuelan government is successful with getting a shit ton of crypto for the 30% discount, I really think that other countries are going to hop on this. And this really is going to, I think, further promote crypto at a political level now, more than just the people, more than just the banks, at a political country level. And then on top of that, I know that there's people doing OTC transactions, just like what will happen between countries. But I know that, and I've seen people post videos that they know people personally that run some of the largest over-the-counter exchanges in crypto. And right now there are a lot of people in the Middle East especially, those really rich Arab guys, trying to do billions of dollars worth of transactions now. And I think if they're doing that now, it's worth looking like June, July. I think we could have a nice run-up, is just my opinion.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I think that it is a net positive. I think that, don't don't get hung up on.
Don't buy it. You don't have to go buy it.
Exactly. Don't get hung up on is this like something I need to have my money in, or is this a worthwhile investment? Is it trustworthy? This is just more mainstream adoption, and that is nothing but good for crypto.
Yeah, exactly.
Let them do their corrupt shit.
Exactly.
Let them
Between
use it.
Nasdaq, Venezuela, these OTC and billions of dollars worth of OTC transactions trying to happen right now and create that liquidity. That's all good stuff. Whether or not you like Nasdaq as a centralized company, blah blah. I've heard people bitch about that. Whether or not you like the fact that there's a lot of OTC transactions, you could bitch about that. Venezuela, Petro, you could bitch about that. But it's still all good stuff. At the end of the day, there could be no activity. So it's still hot. It's still popping. So yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. Some people to follow, some news. Talk about some coins. There's some coin news. Golem. I'm a big fan of Golem.
Oh yeah.
No, you are. They hit Binance this past week, and as a result, they saw like a 2 to 3x increase, a 1 to 200% increase.
Yeah.
Which is much needed from them. They hit a peak of. You got into them like last year.
Yeah.
And they hit a pretty high peak, I think.
In the 20,000 Satoshis. Yeah.
Yeah, and then they went down to like 3,000-ish.
3,000.
Now they're
You
back
got
up to
in.
around
You got in a great.
I got in at 3,000.
Yeah.
Now they're at like around 9,000 or so. And I'm hodling. I ain't selling that. 200% gains. I ain't selling that. No. In all reality, if you're up, you should sell that much, and you should do it. So you only hold it if you could really afford to.
But with Golem, there's also we have a high confidence that Golem's gonna at least hit its previous all-time high. They've been working on it. They released their testnet or their mainnet. Mainnet. So there's real progress, and I'm confident that we'll reach that mid 20,000 Satoshi again.
Yeah. Another coin that I didn't buy into that I wish I did because I knew it would go up, even though I'm not a big fan of it, is EOS.
Yeah,
EOS.
I agree.
Their mainnet is launching soon. There's been huge hype around that. As a result of that hype, they popped from like $3 to $18 or something.
Yep.
With over an $18 billion market cap, which is crazy. And a lot of people drawing that SpaceX comparison.
Yep. I mean, we drew the comparison to Deutsche Bank, SpaceX to EOS. There's a lot of money here. You can make these comparisons. It's not always the most accurate. I think that the Binance to Deutsche Bank is a way better comparison, but
yeah.
EOS
people are just saying, oh, it has a bigger market cap than SpaceX that launched the rocket.
Right. I think that's
okay.
Less indicative of anything than the Binance Deutsche Bank comparison.
Yeah.
But it is interesting that people are making that comparison.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah. Are you trying to enter any coins? Have you been looking at any?
But as we've discussed, I'm trying to get out of Expanse.
You're trying to get out of Expanse now, yeah. I have successfully exited. So.
That's my...
and I went into Cardano out of that. So I've been okay.
Yeah, I like Cardano. I think that I would probably reallocate my funds over there.
And Neo and... did you hear the Ethereum... The Reddit founder, who's married to that tennis player?
Yeah, Alexis Ohanian.
He's like, Ethereum 15,000 within the next year or something. And it's like, all right, we'll see. So,
we'll see.
So as you're reallocating...
I've got a pretty heavy Ethereum bag. I think I'm good there.
Yeah. Yeah. That's about it. I think that was a good little wrap up.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, so I'll link everything in the description. I'll link some of the people that we mentioned to follow and not to follow, and a couple of news articles, and we'll catch you next time.
Thanks, guys.